Not today, Satan, though. You're going to lose because I have backup files. So we'll make this announcement as soon as I can get the backup file to load. All right, here we go. Stupid, lousy backup file. Let's do this. Now, if you are online in the Crusader Stadium chat room, if you're standing, you may want to sit down. If you're driving, you may want to pull over. On Monday, March the 10th, the Mike Church Show is going to move its broadcast time. Now, this is a decision that has been researched for, and we've debated it and talked about it in the Crusader Council with all of our wonderful super fans that advise and consent us, the wise and sagacious Crusader Council. The data doesn't lie. The data doesn't lie. Here's what the data says, and I hope if you're watching this on YouTube or Rundle and X, you hang around for a moment. Maggie, where did you go?
I'm looking for my phone. It's gone.
It's big, it's black, and it's rectangular. I don't think you can miss. You want me to call it?
Nope.
The data doesn't lie, and I just want to tell you a little story here because I'm an old storyteller. It's an old story, and I can tell you this. For pert near the first 75, 80 years okay, so if you go from when radio became big, which was in the 1930s, early 1930s, all the way up until the 1970s, radio is basically what the television is today. So most people listen to the radio during the day and in the evening. Now, they invented they granted the licenses for 50,000 kilowatt clear channel stations. You know them, WSP in Atlanta, WWL in New Orleans, KDKA in Pittsburgh. That's so rare. When the Westinghouse stations, WGR, WGM in Chicago, there's, I think, 50,000 watts. They did that because they wanted people to be able to listen to radio at night. 50,000 watts at night, and an AM signal travels the world, basically. Shortwave at that point. The lower on the dial it is. In any event, the 1960s and 70s come along, and all of a sudden, America starts, in the 1950s, there was a boom, an economic boom. The baby boomers had fewer children. More women decided to get into the workforce in the 1960s. And then the interstate highway system was created, and bammo, 15 years later, what do you have? You have this thing called rush hour, right? Morning drive. When is the most amount of people in their cars doing the morning drive? Or doing the drive? Is in the morning. It's either in the morning or in the afternoon. On your way in, on your way home, right? So 6 to 10 a.m. became the most popular listened to day part in all of radio. And it would stay that way from the early 1970s all the way up until COVID. The Corona Doom killed it. So I'm telling you this as just to give you some of the background of this. COVID, now the first chink in the armor of radio listening happened in 2009 and 10 when Obama set the price of gas to $5.50 a gallon. In adjusted dollars, that's like $7.50 today. So how many of you remember this? Remember, a lot of companies did what to deal with this? 4-day work weeks. So many people were working 10-hour days, 4 days a week. So this cut Friday. So the first thing that began to gnaw away at drive time radio and at people being in their cars using the radio was the gas crunch. Those people never returned. Those 4-day work weeks stayed. To my knowledge, all of them. What was the next thing to happen? The next thing to happen was the Corona Doom. The Corona Doom basically just slaughtered what remained of drive time radio because people were told, don't go to work. People were told, don't go to the store. They were told to stay home. Don't drive anywhere. Well, how many people do you know that never returned back to a commuting schedule, and or at least working some of their days, maybe a half, 2 out of 4 days, or 3 out of 5 days a week from home now? So, according to the Nielsen research, I'm telling you this because I think it's important. Uh, According to Nielsen research, the company used to do radio ratings was Arbitron. Arbitron's out of business; they quit. That's another thing we'll tell you just a little bit of where radio and talk radio has gone. Nielsen research took it over. The same people that do TV ratings. Nielsen reported that for the first time in 2021, listening in the middle of the day was more popular than listening in the morning or the afternoon. That trend has continued, and it's gotten worse. So, morning drive radio is not king anymore. When they put me in morning drive on Sirius XM in 2010, it was the coveted spot. It's your big shows in radio are all in morning drive. That's not the case any longer for what little remains of radio. So that's one thing. Secondly, we've been doing this YouTube and this Rumble and X.com broadcast since May. YouTube since May. Rumble we were kind of doing before, but it never got any traction. And the X.com. Well, you can get analytics out of all of them. YouTube has the best analytics because it's Google. What do the YouTube analytics say? The YouTube analytics say that the most amount of people that would listen to this show or do listen to it or watch it rather are on YouTube between the hours of 11 and 6. I'm not doing an afternoon drive. Have no interest in it. So we're going to move to 11 to 2 Central. That's noon to 3 Eastern. For those of you that say, I got to have it in the morning, KingDude, you'll still get Janet Huxley morning news, and it'll still come on at the same time. You'll get the previous day's rebroadcast of this show as if it's running right now. So if you just want to skip a day, you'll only be a day behind, and I'm usually 2 days ahead of the rest of them anyway. So then if you want to keep it morning drive, then we will satisfy that and service you. But the live show is going to move to 11 to 2. And we think that grows the Crusade Radio Network. Might also certainly grows the TV portion, the video portion. Remember, I told you, and I've been telling the counselors in the Crusade Council, you can't survive just doing radio any longer. You have to do multimedia. You've got to do video. You may notice that everywhere you go, no matter what social media it's on, everyone is doing video. Now, again, it's an absolute jungle of crappy, horrible content out there. Certainly no one's doing anything remotely like what we're doing and are going to do. So that's the big news. And we prayed upon it and we'll continue to pray upon it and ask for all of you to continue your prayers. And, we did this in 2019. This isn't the first time. By the way, when we launched the Crusade Radio Network, Mark Kreslin's did the morning. I was on from 8 to noon. So there is a little bit of a precedent here. And during the Corona Doom, we would go on. Remember, Barrett would carry on all the way to 1, right? And I would pop in on Barrett. Sometimes we do crosstalk for an hour, and I would stay on until 11 or so. So even then, there is evidence that many of you were around to watch and to listen. The 3 a.m. start day and the morning drive, we've been doing it for 15 years now. And look, I can do it for another 15. I just think that the data says, and the data doesn't lie. If you want to grow the network, if you want to grow the program, and ultimately, it'd be great to bring other live shows back to it, that this is the anchor, then this show needs to air when the most amount of people can listen to it. Now, somebody's going to say, better sure plays. The listeners go where the talent is. This is true. And I'm always amazed by how many people show up in the chat room some days at 6 a.m. Now, look, if there's big hoop-de-doo news and we knew it's going and instead of starting at 11 and we know that it's going to happen that day, obviously, then I'll come on at 8. So, like, say there's a big press conference or something that we know is going, or a big event. Well, then we would start the day whatever time that is. We're live, so whenever it is, it's live. We'll be happening. We'll be live in the middle of the day for lots of events. So we think it's going to work out